In September, in return, Israel released the bodies of 40 Lebanese guerrillas. But if you want to know what Veena is, here's Stephen.
Thanks very much, Lindsay. Well, let me tell you, Indian music was popularised for those born in the 50s, anyway, in the West in the 60s by the Beatles, and more specifically by George Harrison, because, of course, he loved the Indian music, and especially the instrument, the sitar. Now, Prince Rama Varma has come to Europe to inspire an interest in Indian classical music with the instrument called the Veena, which is similar to the sitar. While he was in London, Prince Varma played several concerts and came in to us to talk about his music.
Varma, you're a singer and you're also a player of an instrument called Veena.
Yes.
Tell us more about that.
Do you know the sitar? Sitar is a North Indian instrument which is popularized by Pandit Ravi Shankar. He played with the Beatles and all that. Veena is around this big. It's very big. The frets are just like that of a guitar, and it has 7 strings. You have 4 strings on which you play and 3 strings on the side to give the rhythm. You can give the pulse.
Does the instrument have a history? Does it go back a long way in Indian culture?
Yes, it goes back right to the Vedic times. That is almost prehistoric.
Now, you play South Indian classical music,
Yes.
don't you?
Yes.
Tell us more about that.
We have, again, 2 branches of Indian classical music, North Indian and South Indian. So, South Indian classical music is not written, because the teacher sings something and we have to reproduce immediately. So from the basic lessons onwards till the very advanced things, you learn by ear and nothing is written down.
So you're
it is orally
extemporizing when you're playing this sort of music?
Yes, for example, for a full concert, the fixed pieces occupy around 30% of the time. Rest of the time you are improvising.
Just listening to the music, is it repetitive?
No, not at all. But it can be contemplative. You can sing what you call an alap. Alap is just ah.
George Harrison in the 60s
Yes.
Fell in love with Indian music, and
Yes.
there was a fashion for Indian music.
Yes.
Is Indian music coming to Britain, coming to the West again?
Oh, I don't know, really. Because these new pop groups, they take a lot of rhythmic stuff from Indian rhythms. We have very good rhythmic system in South India, in Punjab, for example. They call it the Bhangra dance. You have people with turbans and beards dancing around. So many new groups have taken rhythms basically from India more than melodies, I think.
What would you like to do with your music? Where would you like to take it?
I would like to popularize Indian classical music, the pure thing, without doing fusion, for example. I find fusion more of a confusion than anything else. We lose both, I feel. So I love pure Western classical music and pure Indian classical music. So we have a lot of blends of the two, and I feel both lose.
Are there similarities between Western classical music and Indian?
Not much,
music?
I mean, except the basic notes. Because we don't have harmony, for example. Because this music is totally composed for singing, for one voice. So we don't have 9 counterparts, for example. While Western classical music, it has got harmony. And Indian classical music, we have oscillations. Like if you have black keys and white keys on a piano, we use the cracks in between also.
It's difficult. I mean, George Harrison said the sitar was extremely difficult to learn to play. Is a Veena too equally difficult?
Yes.
How long did it take you?
I learned for 5 years Veena, but I had already studied vocal. It's the same thing which you sing and play on the Veena. If you play violin, for example, it's again the same music. So you just have to master the technique of the instrument. So I took around 5 years, but then it's very hard to keep up practice when you are traveling, for example, because the instrument is very big. So,
is Indian classical music popular in India in the same way, perhaps, that Western classical music is popular in Britain, but for a specialized number of people?
Yes.
It's not a mass culture.
No, unfortunately.
And the same is true in India?
Yes.
So, just to finish off, Varma, will you sing something? Because you are more of a singer than a player, aren't you?
Now?
Why not?
Well,
Do you need musical
Yeah,
backing?
usually we need what we call a tampura to provide the drone.
Right.
And 5 minutes is really a little too short.
Too short. What,
To sing.
the length of the songs goes on, or the songs go on for some time?
Yes, they're very long.
How long would a song last?
Oh, we have 3-minute songs, half-an-hour songs also. It depends on your imagination at that point in time.
Many thanks indeed for telling us
Thank
about
you.
the Veena and the cultural music of India.
Thank you, it's been my pleasure.
Prince Varma, I shouldn't have asked him to sing, should I? Anyway, it's time now to turn our attention to sport, and I won't ask Steve May to sing, you can be sure of that.